Was it John Harroff ever here? Ryan Harroff will be your next comedian. I apologize. He was on my cheat sheet that I lost. Mr. Harroff, please watch your step coming up the steps. The last comedian broke them. Have a good night.
Thank you. So my name is Ryan Harroff, and just a little bit to help you get to know me. I am 17 years old, just to make you uncomfortable. And a few weeks ago, I had the distinct pleasure of hosting a weekend here at Wiley's. And for those of you who have never been to a weekend, this is the way it works. They bring in a real comedian, and I'm his opening act for a little while. Now, thank you. Now, on the second night of shows, our guest comedian didn't show up. It was supposed to be me, guest, headliner. And I looked at the owner, Aaron, and I said, Aaron, do you want me to just add a few jokes to make up for this guy not being here? And Aaron said, no, we've got something better. That's not supposed to be the funny part. So, enter these three women who walk in and they say, we are your dancers this evening. Now, this is not me being mean, but I legitimately thought surely these are the managers, not the dancers themselves. No, these are the dancers. And they said, we are your dancers. Who is the host? I said, that's going to be me. They said, we're going to bring you up on stage. And I said, why? They said, we need someone in the lap dance chair. Now, I had an argument with myself where I thought this is going to be terrible, it's going to be awkward, I'm going to hate every second of it, but I am a comedian and I need this story in my life. So I said yes. Now I go into this room, and I begin to do my set, and the audience doesn't know what's about to happen. They think there's a comedian. I do my set. I established I'm 17 in my set. The set goes pretty well. I'm laughing, I'm joking with people. And at the end I go, okay everyone, we have a bit of an unusual situation here tonight. In place of a guest comic, we have some burlesque dancers that are going to perform for you. Are you guys ready to see some sexy dancing? And one of the guys that I was making fun of said, as long as you're not one of them. So, I take everything off stage with me as they've instructed me to do. And my instructions were, after taking everything off stage, I was to stand right here. And I said, can I sit down? I want to sit. They go, oh, you'll sit eventually. I said, no, I want to sit before. And they go, you have to stand so the girls know who their target is. So, the girls go up on stage and they start, and I should specify, these were not burlesque dancers. These were strippers and not good ones. Basically, while the song is going on, they just kind of rub themselves and then remove the layer and then rub and remove over and over again. So I'm over here, and I'm watching this atrocity happen. And then I'm looking at the crowd, and they aren't watching the dancers. They're looking at me. And they're pointing at me, and then looking at each other and going, why is he standing there like a pervert? There's just this murmur throughout the room, just pervert, 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 pervert. Now eventually the dancers grab a chair, and then they grab me, and the room goes dead silent. Because they know about my age, and they're not okay with what's about to happen. They push me into the chair. And the weird thing about what happened next, Mr. Fabio, is how little there was. Because there really wasn't much of anything. Like, one of them kind of touched my knee, and then they all walked over there, laid on their backs, and started kicking their legs in the air. And I'm nervous. I've never been to one of these before, let alone been in one. So am I supposed to be doing something? Is that why this is so weird right now? But I was nervous, so I said, I'm just going to sit perfectly still. And if they want me, they'll grab me. For 6 minutes, this goes on. Until eventually the song ends and the girls throw me off the stage. And the reason I say throw is that I was not paying attention to the show. I was just staring madly into the distance like a Vietnam vet. So they grab me and throw me off the stage. The girls walk out of the room. It's dead quiet. I walk back on stage with the microphone, and I just look at them. And I say, I know some of you have wondered how comedians come up with their jokes. Here's how I do it. Things like that happen to me, and later I tell strangers about them. I'm sorry you had to go through this with me tonight. I walk out of the room because I don't want to be in there anymore. I go sit at the bar, I get a soda. The owner of Wiley's is sitting next to me, laughing so hard. He cannot get air into his body. The headliner comes out after his set, sits down on the other side and says, Ryan, I want you to know, I just did my 4th appearance on Letterman. I was on Bob and Tom this morning, I was on The Tonight Show, Fox, all of it. I've done 3 dozen shows just this year so far. This was in February. But I will never forget you. Based solely on what happened here tonight. Here's the kicker. One of the dancers comes out of the bathroom. She's changed back into normal person clothing. She walks to the door, and she stops. And she turns around like Mean Joe Green in a Coke ad. She says, hey host, souvenir. And she throws something at me. I reach up and I catch it. And I look, and it's the strap from the garter belt to the pantyhose. Which means my night had consisted of 10 minutes of mediocre jokes, courtesy of myself, followed by what is surely the most embarrassing moment of my life, followed by a strange woman throwing part of her underwear at me. And in that moment I knew, this is exactly what I want to do with my life. Keep that energy going for your next comedian, the very funny Mr. Larry Hanskin.